I got another Yu Yu Hakusho fight. This one is taking place during the Dark Tournament arc. So remember back to that time when watching this video. This is not the fullest. This is not. The fight is Hiei versus Toguro. You know that already. That's why you clicked on this video. Hiei is at Dark Tournament power. And if you know anything about how powerful he was, Glenn would say he was mid because Toguro was as well. Keep that in mind, but don't stretch it out too much, alright? Because there's certain moves that certain guys have that make this fight interesting. Hiei versus Toguro. Physical strength is going to a guy Toguro for sure. He's out here picking up the he grabbed the ring from the other arena and brought it to where they were having the finals at. He just picked that shit up and was like, here we go. And he did that in a weaker state. I think he was only using 50%. Maybe 60% of his strength to do shit like that. He is not quite that strong. His strikes are, pretty damn strong though. He is, but overall I have to give it to Toguro there. Speed wise, definitely Hiei. Toguro's pretty quick too. Oh man, Hiei not so durability wise goes to Toguro. I'm looking at this fight and I'm saying, none of his regular fire attacks, Hiei's regular fire attacks are gonna do shit. That sword will break. I'll let him have the sword during this fight. It will break the fire from the mortal fight won't work. So he'll have to resort to using the darkness fight, which that will do damage. But how much? I'm not so certain because Toguro is more durable than Bowie. And Bowie was able to throw the dragon back at Hiei. The dragon of the darkness fight was able to throw it back and not get damaged by it. Now he did eventually get damaged by it, but Hiei adapted to the situation. I have to give the durability to Toguro. Endurance, I'm giving it to Toguro as well. He was fighting against Yusuke in canon, right? So he fought against Yusuke. Yeah, man, they were fighting for a long time. That was not a short bout at all. Hiei and Yusuke, by the end of the Dark Tournament, they're on the same level. But Yusuke's still slightly stronger than him. That's why I'm like, this fight is not going to be an easy match. Either way you look at it, But I give endurance to Toguro. Hiei, his fights really that long. He finished that shit as quick as possible. His fight with Blue was kind of long, not as long as Yusuke and Toguro. I have to give Toguro the edge there. And then intelligence-wise, I have to give it to Toguro. Toguro was not stupid. My brother might be stupid, but he ain't big. I didn't say he's a genius or anything either, but he's smarter than what he looks. He is not smarter than Toguro. Experience-wise, Toguro got that. He has experience to be in a demon for 50 years. Close skills-wise, Toguro, he was boxing with Yusuke. He boxed with Yusuke too, but he's not in the box. We know that. all-round fighter. He is. But Togiro's got his range recovery or range skills got Hiei. He has the darkness flame. He can do different things with that. 3 different things that come to mind. And that's just shooting the dragon out. And I do think he's gonna be doing that. He's gonna be like dragon of the darkness flame. Boom! He's gonna hit him really fucking hard with it, to try to get past that durability. Because I think he'll have to, pull that out once he goes 100%. Hacks wise, or recovery wise, I'll give it to Toguro. Toguro does have somewhat of a healing factor. Hiei does not. Hacks go to, and his healing factor is not that great, but it's still, it is there. Hacks go to Hiei. I give it to him. Toguro does have great strength and durability from his buff becoming a demon, right? But Hiei has different ways he can use darkness flame, like I said. He can shoot the dragon straight at him. He can turn, use some of the darkness flame in a sword. And so his sword breaks, and he can just do what he did against Toguro and use that sword. And that actually did damage to him. And then he can also just take all the energy inside his body, and then he gets tried to win this one. And you Toguro fans are like, he's strong, he's this and that. He is, man. He's a fucking god. So all that extra stuff. Like I said, in the first point of this video, I told you that I have Yusuke and Hiei, right? That are definitely relative to each other. At the end of the dark tournament, they're like neck and neck still. Hiei's not losing to Yusuke easily. By the end of the dark tournament, because Yusuke still hadn't attained his, realized who he truly was at all yet by that point in time. And he still ended up defeating Toguro. So with that, I'ma say that Hiei wins this fight extreme difficulty, and I mean this shit is like really fucking hard fight, just like it was for Yusuke. It'll be like that for Hiei. Hiei will have but the moves that he has is kind of fucking ridiculous. These demons that see him use that, that's a crowd. The deepest darkest catastrophe. He's so much. But if you got Toguro winning, it's gotta be extreme. But like, there's a big watch the show. Talk about now. I don't know. Usually that Toguro wins, but that's gotta be extreme diff either way. I got Hiei winning that one. Equal go on the corner, and keep in mind too, I'm talking about Hiei during the dark tournament. He is weaker than he is at the end of the series. If this is Hiei during the end of the series versus Toguro,